You know that one friend, you walk into their place, and it looks like a literal magazine cover. Not a single shoe out of place, no random junk mail on the kitchen counter. The sofa cushions look like they've never even been sat on. And you just stand there, looking around, thinking, do people actually live here? We all have that one buddy who is low-key obsessed with keeping their space spotless. Maybe that person is you. But here is the wild part. It is not just about wiping down countertops or owning a really expensive vacuum. There is a whole hidden world of psychology driving that intense need for a squeaky clean aesthetic. Today, we are cracking open the brains of the neat freaks, the tidy titans, and the ultra-organized. What is actually going on up there? Because the truth is, a perfectly clean room tells you a massive story about someone's mental state, their anxieties, and how they handle the absolute chaos of the real world. Stick around, because by the end of this, you are going to look at your messy bedroom or your spotless living room in a completely different way.
Let's kick things off with the biggest psychological driver behind the broom, and that is the desperate need for control. Look, life is incredibly messy. You get stuck in horrible traffic, your boss acts out at work, your Wi-Fi drops right in the middle of a movie, and you basically have zero say in any of it. The outside world is completely out of your hands, but your living room, that is your kingdom. For a lot of people, cleaning isn't really about the dirt at all. It is a massive coping mechanism. When the world feels overwhelming and unpredictable, organizing their physical space gives them a powerful hit of control. Psychological studies actually back this up big time. Researchers have found that physical clutter directly spikes our cortisol levels. Cortisol is that nasty stress hormone that makes you feel constantly on edge. People actually show much higher levels of depression and daytime fatigue when they describe their homes as cluttered or full of unfinished projects. So for the spotless squad, wiping down the kitchen sink isn't just a boring chore. It is literally stress relief. It is their brain's way of saying, okay, the world outside is totally on fire, but at least these baseboards are completely dust-free.
Next up, we have to talk about brain chemistry, specifically our good friend dopamine. This is the reward chemical that makes you feel like a total boss when you accomplish something. For people who keep their house immaculate, cleaning triggers a massive, continuous dopamine loop. Think about it for a second. Making your bed takes maybe 2 minutes of your morning, but as soon as you smooth out that blanket and fluff the pillows, your brain gives you a little gold star. You did a task. You finished it. Boom! Instant dopamine hit. Now multiply that feeling by doing the dishes, vacuuming the rug, and color-coding your entire closet. People with ultra-clean houses have essentially hacked their brain's reward system. They are getting high on everyday productivity. It is all about immediate gratification. You wipe down a dirty bathroom mirror, and 3 seconds later, it looks brand new. In a world where long-term goals like getting a promotion or losing weight take months or years to achieve, scrubbing a floor gives you an instant, undeniable win. It is highly addictive. And honestly, it is a pretty healthy addiction to have.
But let's keep it totally real for a second. It is not always sunshine and dopamine hits. Sometimes a hyper-clean house is a heavy mask for underlying anxiety and perfectionism. There is a psychological concept known as all-or-nothing thinking. Some folks are hardwired to believe that if something isn't 100% perfect, it is a complete failure. If there is a single coffee mug sitting in the sink, they feel like the whole kitchen is ruined. This level of extreme perfectionism is completely exhausting. These people often tie their deep self-worth directly to their physical environment. They quietly think to themselves, if my house is a mess, that means I am a mess as a person. They are terrified of being judged. What if a neighbor drops by unannounced? What will they think of me? So they stay on high alert, constantly picking up and putting things away all day long. In these cases, it is less about actually enjoying a clean space and much more about avoiding the terrible guilt and shame of a messy one. It is a super interesting flip in psychology. For some people, cleaning reduces their anxiety. For others, the intense fear of not cleaning is exactly what causes their anxiety. If you find yourself snapping at your roommates because they left a single magazine on the coffee table, you might be crossing that thin line from a healthy habit into toxic perfectionism.
Another major factor we cannot ignore is identity and ego. We use our homes to broadcast who we are to the outside world. Keeping a spotless house is a massive social flex. It loudly signals maturity, responsibility, and financial success. In American culture, we are heavily conditioned from a young age to view cleanliness as next to godliness. When you host a dinner party and your apartment is gleaming, you are basically telling your guests, "Look at me, I have my entire life completely together." It is the ultimate adult status symbol. You want people to know you are a fully functioning human who pays taxes, eats vegetables, and definitely does not have a giant pile of dirty laundry sitting on a chair for 3 weeks. People who maintain flawless homes often have a strong core identity tied to personal competence. They desperately want to be seen as reliable and put together. The pristine environment is just the physical, undeniable proof of their internal discipline.
We also need to talk about the huge issue of visual noise and sensory processing. Some brains are simply wired completely differently when it comes to taking in visual input. You might look at a stack of mail on the counter and just see a stack of mail. A neat freak looks at that exact same stack and hears a blaring car alarm inside their head. Clutter creates intense visual noise. It constantly competes for your brain's limited attention span. Psychologists call this having a high cognitive load. Every single item out of place is a tiny distraction, pulling focus away from whatever you are actually trying to do. People who keep extremely tidy homes often have a much lower tolerance for this visual noise. Their brains desperately crave negative space. A clear countertop equals a clear mind. They literally cannot relax on the couch, watch a movie, or focus on a work project if there is random junk sitting in their peripheral vision. So keeping the house clean is a hard boundary they set to protect their own mental energy. They are essentially muting the visual volume of their environment so they can finally hear themselves think in peace.
Now, does all of this mean messy people are totally broken or lazy? Absolutely not. Psychological studies actually show that messy environments can promote highly creative thinking. People working in cluttered rooms are often more likely to come up with highly original, out-of-the-box ideas. They break the mold. They are way less bound by strict rules and traditional conventions. So if your desk looks like a hurricane just hit it, you might just be a creative genius operating on a different wavelength. But for the neat freaks of the world, that wild creativity usually happens only after the space is completely clear. They need the blank canvas to even start painting. Both mentalities are totally valid, but they operate on completely different frequencies. The psychology behind a spotless house is a wild, complex mix of wanting control, chasing brain chemistry, managing anxiety, and fulfilling deep sensory needs. It is really never just about being clean. It is about feeling safe, feeling rewarded, and creating a physical space that matches your exact mental needs. So the next time you visit that friend with the perfect, flawless apartment, you will know exactly what is going on behind the scenes. They are managing their daily stress, securing those easy dopamine hits, and maybe, just maybe, fighting off a little bit of that inner perfectionist.
What about you guys? Are you the type of person who needs absolutely everything spotless before you can even chill out? Or are you thriving in a little bit of everyday organized chaos? I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Drop a comment down below and let me know which side you are on. If you got some real value out of this video today and learned something new about how our brains actually work, do me a massive favor and smash that like button right now. It really helps out the channel and pushes this out to more people. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you never miss out on our deep dives into the human mind. We are decoding human behavior here every single week. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will catch you in the next one.